In the USFL, overtime will be like you've never seen before. It's a best-of-3 shootout. We'll line up at the 2 and alternate possessions between the teams. If we're still tied after 3 possessions, then it's sudden death until we have a winner. This is the USFL. In the USFL, you have another option on top of the onside kick. We're going to give you a scrimmage play, 4th and 12 from the 33-yard line. If you make a first down, you keep the ball. If you don't, you're going to give the ball back to the defense. And if you're sacked, they may get the ball all the way down at the 10-yard line. A lot of risk, but a lot of reward. This is the USFL. In the USFL, offenses will have more options than ever. Why? Because they can throw 2 forward passes behind the line of scrimmage. This will open up the playbook like never before. Imagine quarterback throwing the ball forward to a wide receiver, back to the quarterback who advances for a touchdown. Imagine the possibilities. This is the USFL. In the USFL, when you score a touchdown, you've got 3.
All right. So we have the USFL rules. We were just disconnected there for a second. So the USFL rules were released. The rule books were released. Football, they say, traditional football with a modern twist. So rules will keep fans engaged by adding offense and getting calls right. So on March 23rd, the USFL, of course, announced their rules. Most of the rules that govern the USFL games in the spring are traditional standard, familiar to fans of today's professional and college games. However, the league is instituting some changes to bolster offense and big play potential, improve game flow, give trailing teams more scoring opportunities as time winds down, enhance player safety, and get officiating calls right in a way that's fair for both teams. Mike Pereira quote there. Through the social media channel, the league revealed several USFL. Of course, we saw the videos there. Summary of the USFL rules. Of course, you heard the extra point. Scoring teams have 3 options to attempt extra points. Teams will receive 1 point for a successful kick between the uprights, snapped at the 15, 2 points, just like the NFL, and 3 points, a la kind of the XFL, sort of, from the 10-yard line scrimmage play. So teams trailing by 9 points or less have the opportunity to close that gap. The reason, late game excitement by improving chances for comeback. Remember, the USFL, part of their deal about 3-down football is to give teams, and we saw it last year in CFL games, gave teams a chance to actually come back at the end, and we did see some exciting games from the CFL. So they're trying to play that same business model. Instant replay, USFL Replay Command Center at Fox Sports Control Center in Los Angeles will make all the replay decisions. One replay crew will make all the decisions. There's only one game going on versus 32, makes it a lot easier. They want to achieve accuracy, consistency, and faster rulings. The reason, improve game flow. So the command center will have the authority to overrule incorrect personal foul calls, including roughing the passer, hits on defenseless players, face masks, horse collars, and more. The USFL replay command will also be responsible for determining whether the act of pass interference is obviously intentional when it occurs 15 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, something Mike Pereira has talked about in the past. Clearly, pulling a guy down 100%, knowing that you're going to get a safe play, that's kind of where that comes then. So they want to correct obvious missed calls from officiating stuff. So to get the call right, and that's at the bottom line. I've always said, if I'm Major League Baseball, I'm getting AI to do balls and strikes. Who cares about the umpires? Just get the call right. Is it a strike? Is it a ball? And it should be consistent. One of the many annoying things about baseball. Kickoffs. All kickoffs will be from the 25-yard line. No kicking team member may line up any further back than 1 yard, while the receiving team must have a minimum of 8 players in the set-up zone between their 35 and 45-yard lines. After a kickoff travels 20 yards, the first touch must be by the receiving team, and an untouched kick becomes dead. The ball belongs to the receiving team at the spot. Effect, create more, yet safer kickoff returns, increase big play potential with more return kickoffs rather than touchbacks, a la the NFL. Onside onside kick versus scrimmage play. This one was interesting. Teams will have two options to retain possessions of the ball after scoring. The first option will be traditional onside kick attempts from the 25-yard line. The second will be running a 4th down and 12 play from their own 33-yard line. If the team gets a first down, it retains possession. If it fails, then the defense gets the ball. Create an alternate way of trailing teams to keep the ball scoring. This is kind of interesting. 4th down and 12 play from their 33-yard line. We'll see how this one actually plays out. I mean, if I am a team, I am doing this scrimmage play versus an onside kick all day long. Successfully executing and recovering onside kick is rare, so this provides another option while increasing risk-reward strategies for coaches. My question is, okay, so you get the play, 4th and 12 play from their own 33-yard line, that puts you at the 50-yard line, and then you get the ball at the 50-yard line, or do you get the ball at like the 25-yard line? Like, how does that work? But they kind of explained that there. Overtime rules. This will be similar to the XFL. Overtime will be the best of 3 play shootout. Each team successful will alternate plays against opposing defense on the 2-yard line. Each successful scoring attempt will receive 2 points. The team with the most points after 3 plays wins. The subsequent attempts become sudden death if the score is tied. After each team runs 3 plays, the overtime period will extend until a winner is declared. So there is no tie games, which is nice. And definitely a lot of fans do not, including myself, do not like the NFL's overtime rule. Both teams will have equal chance of winning, as it should be. Create more excitement and fairness. The designed shootout overtime, that's something from the XFL. Punts, gunners may not line up outside the numbers. Fewer injuries, enhanced player safety and game flow. Timing, the clock will stop for first downs inside of 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarters. More offensive plays during the final 2 minutes of each half. Add offensive excitement for before at end of halftime at the end of the game. Penalties, defensive pass interference, offensive pass interference. They talk about those, trying to clean those up. 2 forward passes, just like in the XFL. We heard them talk about that. That really was only used once, I believe. And there are your rules for the USFL. Let us know in the comments. Do you like the USFL rule book? You think it's too gimmicky? I think they got pretty much everything right. I'm not really sure about this onside kick kind of thing and how that all works. Fourth and that piece of the puzzle. But overall, I think this rule book is good. And this is what's nice about these spring football leagues, whether it's the USFL, XFL, fan control football, even though they're completely different for the most part. But just giving these leagues a chance to try play around with something different than the traditional NFL rules and see what works. And this is the way to differentiate your league from the others. So let us know what you think in the comments about the USFL's new rule book.